Good morning. Today is March 10th, 2021. My name is Jared, and welcome to the Morning Brew. Let's go ahead and get started. So, starting off with our normal perspective on the SPY. Yesterday, we saw some amount of follow through from the lows based around the thesis that those who were short in this market potentially were seeing a little bit of a short squeeze. We most notably had the tech sector, the consumer discretionary sector bounce from yesterday and call it Friday lows as sort of the lowest point in those markets. And while we did close weak on yesterday with sort of a bearish signaling candle, we closed near the lows in most of the index ETFs. We did gap up overnight, and that led to the momentum and sort of the short squeeze thesis that was achieved yesterday. So in stocks like the SPY, or in ETFs like the SPY, we are returning back into our bullish channel. And this is notable because not only have we reclaimed the bullish channel, but it's acted as an area that has been respected both from the support and the resistance zones for sort of finding relative highs and relative lows over the course of maybe a couple of days to a couple of weeks. So as we are reviewing whether or not we're going to stay within this channel, we're looking to see, are things starting to become more bullish once again? Or is this simply a short squeeze where we will ultimately put in a lower daily high and then potentially come back to retest the lows, if not to break them? So our daily structure, we do have this general downtrend line. It does look as if we're trying to break above. We are holding the 50, which is notable, and we are attempting to reclaim a flat 20 simple moving average on the daily. Looking at our 4-hour, this downtrend line, once again, relatively, it's a roughly drawn trend line, but overall we are starting to breach above. We are starting to hold on this trend line. And what we want to see is, can we build some support zones as the 20, 50, and 200 in this 4-hour perspective start to curl back up? Once again, with the thesis of a potential short squeeze yesterday, we want to see whether bulls actually take hold of this, or was this simply shorts covering? And that will kind of dictate how far back can we pull down from low to high and build a support zone, either at the channel or potentially on this downtrend line. So these are our two kind of zones that we're looking at on this perspective. And that would be the thesis of us going higher. Obviously, if we fall back in, reject the trend line a third to fourth time, and then pull down, this would be potential for more lows. And then looking at our 10-day, 30-minute, markets pulled into 390 on the SPY, which, if you've been paying attention to these sessions, was not really a big surprise. 390 remains the area of the most value, and this is value over the course of the past 30 days or even in the perspective of the past 10 days. So when looking at volume profile, market participants are heavily interested in 390, both as an area of balance, and then a move away from balance would be sort of our short thesis, a hold of balance, and then a move higher to set new balance or new value higher would be our long thesis. So while this was an aggressive short squeeze sort of thesis yesterday, the move to 390 was our target, and that ultimately was not something that surprised technically it didn't surprise me, but you know, I was looking at this as sort of a target area for the move higher. On the lowest time frame, though, we do see that 383 is another area of value. This has been set over the course of sessions in the past, along with some of the recent sessions, where we're starting to hold these channels and build some value. Once again, a little bit lower than where we currently are, but ultimately, you know, providing support for us to fall back into, confirm, and then ultimately try and break 390 if we are to be bullish. We have our trend lines to act as some areas of consideration. And then obviously, if things start to fade and put in that daily higher low, or sorry, put in the daily lower high, then we can, you know, scout to see whether the bears are still in control and if they're just going to roll this market even further. Looking at our Qs, bringing it back to 2050-200. Notable bounce in the Qs. As I was mentioning, we kind of needed the tech sector to come back online in order for any sort of bullish thesis to play out, and that was achieved yesterday. Similar price action where we closed very weak on yesterday, but we had Friday's low acting as a zone or sort of a level that the bears had to break in order for this to really matter. They closed weak. After hours, we gapped up, and then we closed relatively strong with the sort of short squeeze mentality. Notably, we did clear 310, which is the resistance zone set by these candles. You can see that marked here with the lows here. So I think if there is some momentum on the short squeeze mentality, we would be looking at moving averages next and our daily trend line, which is still something we want to keep on our charts. Let me just zoom this out, as it is relevant back to the COVID lows. So we had one test here, and then we lost it during the sell-off. So we will kind of see if this is going to act as the ultimate area of resistance for that daily lower high. 180-day 4-hour. We're still sort of in, I would say, downtrending mode in this perspective. You know, we're still holding a general downtrend line with our most recent Pierce high that we had, showcasing that there is still the potential for this to easily roll over. Similar to the SPY, though, if they can build pressure here and break out, we would once again be targeting some sort of resistance zone. You could look at the 200 on the 4-hour, you could look at the daily trend, but ultimately, if we're reclaiming 310 and reclaiming this range, I would be looking much more at the price action. And so let me bring up my pin. I would personally be looking at these highs here. So, you know, if price just moves over time, that does coincide pretty well with 325, and that would be somewhere in this strike zone. There would need to be a breakout of this downtrend for that to actually make sense, but we did see some indication of that yesterday with the rally from the lows. And then bringing it into our 10-day 30-minute, looking at volume profile. What we want to note is 310 to 311 is our VPOC. It simply means that while this is a support zone that broke down and then became resistance, it is also an area of high value. So when I say build pressure, what I mean is it is very likely that the market could consolidate in this area for a period of a day or two. We could even pull down slightly lower and just sort of retest the breakout that we had from yesterday. If they do that, more and more value will be placed here, and then market participants will decide if they want to move it higher or lower from value. With VPOC sitting here, it's hard to gauge directionality. But if we're looking to the SPY and have a general sense of maybe a daily lower high needing to be set, some sort of momentum into a fade, the Qs could potentially also break out, retest resistance, and then fade from there. So short term, over the next couple days, we want to keep in mind that we have two ranges to work with, 325 to 311, 310, 311. And then obviously the lows, or 300, with this being mostly just a test of the lows, 300 to 310. So our lower range, we're trying to break out. Our upper range, we have a clear resistance at 325. Excuse me. And in the perspective of the 1 hour over the past 30 days, VPOC is sitting at 317. Once again, I mostly just see this as range, so low and high of range. If we were to get a breakout, I think the more aggressive target would still be 325. 317 may act as an area where the market has to pause if they were to come back and retest 325. But between where we are now and 325, the market could easily break upwards, as we did break down relatively quickly. There's not a lot of value placed here, and you can see that the market tends to fall through this area. Therefore, we could easily fade up relatively quickly. You know, usually if you can fall through an area quickly, you can rise through an area pretty quickly as well. All right, and then finally, IWM, 2050-200. Once again, still relatively our strongest market. Yesterday's price action was once again a gap up, but we didn't really close super weak. We did have a bearish candle, but we didn't necessarily close weak into Friday's range. We mostly just closed slightly at the lows. We are holding so far this trend, and now we're just building pressure against a downtrend from the highs and an uptrend line from multiple tests of pullbacks that we've had leading into this rally. So I'm still thinking of this market as sort of a gauge as to whether can this market be the strongest, and if so, our weakest market, the Qs, could have a chance to go test resistance, and then our more diversified market, the SPY, could easily come back into an area near all-time highs, which would be, you know, close to anywhere from like 385 to 390. So maybe not a full back test of 395, the highs on the SPY, but this would have to be a signal for that to be strong. All right. Downtrend line here, very similar to other markets. We're just putting in these lower highs, acting as areas of resistance. We've got 215 as an area of support with multiple tests on different candles, and then we pulled lower than that level, but we quickly reclaimed it. So we have our trend line that we reclaimed and retested, and now we're trying to see if we can get back above this downtrend line. So this would be the first time that this market could potentially put in a higher high relative to the one here. And, you know, obviously breaking this one, which was the test of the downtrend line. And 10-day, 30-minute, looking at our volume profile. Once again, sitting at VPOC, hard to gauge directionality. We could easily consolidate between the trend and the downtrend line. we could easily get much tighter in the price action. So in this market, the potential for a couple of range days is possible as we consolidate. But if I'm looking just at the 1 hour to get a little bit more data, value is sitting higher at 226. This is one of the markets that has not come back to value, similar to the Qs, sitting at 317. So 226 on this breakout would be an area for this market to rest. And then ultimately, if it were one of our stronger candidates, ultimately going to test the all-time high, which would be sitting around 230. But the consolidation and sort of a better gauge of directionality is needed because we have bullish trending and then we have short-term downtrending, which makes our wedge pattern, and it can be very difficult to gauge directionality in the wedge until we break from the wedge. Okay, so for today, I wanted to look over a couple of different commodity markets and also just kind of look around and see if there's any red flags based on what occurred yesterday. I'll start off with the, I guess, like fear gauges that we are trying to leverage. And this is going to be things like the dollar, which continues to show that the 89 area acting as support. We've had some significant strength in the dollar, and we are starting to at least have a pullback in this zone. Any strength in the dollar can coincide into weakness in the equities market. We've seen periods where this correlated to weakness in the equities, but we've also seen periods where it lost that correlation. It really didn't matter to the equities market. So what we want to gauge here is whether or not this is an early warning sign that the equities markets are a little overbaked, and therefore people are starting to go back into cash, aka the US dollar. We'd want to see maybe a confirmation that this short-term breakout rally from the lows can hold, and that could easily just pull down and give us another leg higher. Similar to what we saw here, where we had a period of consolidation, a pretty massive move higher, and then, you know, an uptrend from that point leading into the crash of 2020. Our VIX, our volatility index, just as a gauge of whether or not the market's kind of cooling down. We did see this start to fade as the market was trying to bottom over the past couple days. The range in here is getting relatively tight, and we are holding, I would say, this right here. So if volatility can continue to decrease, there may be less and less overall fear. We may see shorter ranges and therefore potential bullish drift in the market. If this picks back up, that lower high scenario and the rejection from resistance may take place, and this could easily spike if we get aggressive and also volatile selling, which we've seen selling be volatile these past couple of weeks. Selling doesn't necessarily have to be volatile, but I think if market participants realize that, you know, the market's not going much higher from here, then that panic could set in, and we could easily see all sectors start to correlate a little bit more closely, which we have not seen yet. So yeah, I mean, overall, I'm looking at this and saying, okay, short term, we do have a little bit of relief in the market. We had that short squeeze, which may bring in new bulls. And we're looking at maybe some short-term upper targets now that we have price action sitting above us and below us. So short-term, without price levels above us, when you're a bull, you're kind of just looking at all-time highs and saying, you know, when are we going to pull back? Now that we have pulled back significantly and we're coming back up into this range, we can use some price levels to gauge, are the bulls going to continue from here, or are the bears just going to pick back up where they started in a better position? As far as some of these other markets, let's see. So looking at things like gold, well, let me see if I can preface this. So when it comes to some of the commodities markets, there are opportunities in these markets that can be brought to us through the equities side of things. And what I'd like to do is just get a quick kind of walkthrough of some potential areas of interest, because there have been some other markets that are not necessarily high visibility, things like EV, solar, MJ. A lot of these markets are really good for day traders, but as far as just general bullish trends or things that haven't really pulled back significantly recently, there is some opportunity in these other markets. So just as a way to expose people to other areas of the market that could potentially keep going. One that I'm interested in is gold. We had an area of consolidation over the early portion of 2020. We had a significant rally, and then we've mostly just been selling off since then. We are hitting sort of a critical support zone back from last year. And what I'm interested in here is whether or not this could potentially provide enough support to give enough risk to reward to the upside. If I just look at 20, 50, 200, we are relatively extended from all three of these moving averages. So the potential for a bounce is there. And we certainly saw at least price action dictate that there is some interest at this level. Short term, the target would be something like a moving average or the recent lows. And then long term, this would be an area that if you were bullish in the gold sector, you would be getting a price that is very similar to had you bought gold last year. So, the risk to reward could be attractive both short term, if you're getting in relatively early with a tight stop and you're targeting, recent lows as your resistance zone. And then long term, you're basically getting, a discount relative to the past year because we're at some of the lowest prices of the past year, except for when the market was crashing. So that one's of interest to me. I think it could provide some opportunity. There are plenty of stocks that have some correlation to gold, whether it be mining stocks, certain manufacturing stocks that use gold as part of their product, and even things like semiconductors wanting to track the prices of gold and silver in their components. So there's plenty of opportunity, but knowing just gold itself as a potential area of interest. And then to a similar degree, silver. This one's been a little bit choppier, a little bit harder to read, but we have some notable areas of interest if we were to pull down to these lows, and then we're obviously making higher lows, higher highs, and then higher lows. So once again, little hard to read, little choppy, but overall uptrending and pulling into some zones of interest from the past couple of months. So these markets move slower overall unless there's some, like catalytic area of interest to bid these prices higher. So keep in mind that these are going to be slightly longer term plays. Any interest in building a position would usually take anywhere from weeks to months to actually come to fruition. So just keep that in mind. It's not going to be as momentum driven as some of the other markets. And then shifting over to a market that's been helping the S&P, we have the crude market. And I'm just using /CL for light sweet crude. There are other futures contracts that track gold, that track oil. we've seen mostly just a very strong bullish uptrend in crude. It is actually one of the most surprising, I would say, recoveries that we've seen, given how significant the crash was. And the thought here is that there was quite a bit of panic selling as the economy was coming to a halt. There was obviously some other catalysts in oil, the lack of demand and the overabundance of supply. So the idea behind this is potentially that there was not too many sellers left, and we got sort of that capitulation move where it sold off as heavily as it could, and now people are just stepping back in, along with there being a lack of sellers over the past year. This market's been at higher points in its time frame, and from a technical perspective, we are still trying to look at sort of a downtrending market. But you can see that as of recent, if I'm looking at the monthly here too, as of recent, we are starting to breach what has been a multi-month area of resistance. We've had multiple times where this line acted as a zone, and then we crashed from these points, usually tens of dollars per barrel of oil. So, for those who think this could be an area of interest, obviously this has made a big move from the lows. But if you're looking long term in this perspective, the move could have just started, and we're just seeing signs of a breakout here. The potential to maybe pull back and even go higher is present from a technical perspective. So, and finally, I'll look at natural gas. That's probably the only one I can look at with the amount of time that I have left. Let's see. Honestly, the trend here is a little hard to read, even from long term. I think the only thing here I'll just mention, it's very similar to crude. Long term, we have this very significant downtrend line. We're butting our head against it. We're building pressure, potential for breakout. This would once again be a very long-term play, as there'd be a potential shift into this having like a multi-year sort of breakout and bullish trend. So yeah, so that'll be probably where I stop today. There's plenty of markets to look at, but what I want to expose everyone to is, amidst some of the volatility that we're seeing, the opportunity in some of these markets may shift into names that we're not yet familiar with, whether it be oil and gas, which has continued to show strength, whether it be things like lumber, corn, soybean, some of the more economic agricultural markets. And we could look at things like Caterpillar, things like John Deere, things like Tractor Supply Company. Those companies tend to do well when prices of agricultural products are high. And we've seen that if you look at those tickers. And then, whether or not that is something that's going to continue for the foreseeable future. Is tech going to continue to be the leader, or will there be a shift from technology and I would say more innovative growth companies down to sort of the economic, I would say, stability companies, the ones that tend to do well in a stronger economic market? And obviously industrials, airliners, cruises, those things have shown some potential to recover. So we'll be looking at those over time and see how things shape out. So with that said, that's all I have for today. Tomorrow, I think we'll get away from a lot of this more complex stuff. We'll look at some actual names that are starting to show signs of strength. People are looking at Amazon and Tesla. Those are some big movers yesterday. We'll also go ahead and pull up Bitcoin. I didn't have a chance to look at it today, but there is some interest in the crypto market, and we're seeing stocks like Riot, Mara, CAN, those are really great day trading names, and they rely heavily on strength and weakness in the crypto market to gauge whether or not they're going to trend strongly or not. So that said, my name is Jared. This has been the Morning Brew. We're going to shift over to Carlos and Norm in just a moment. So stay tuned, and y'all have a great Wednesday and a happy trading session. All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the pre-market show. I hope everyone's having an amazing morning. Hope you had a great day yesterday. Good morning, Norm. How are you doing today?
Hey, good morning, buddy. I'm doing all right. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. All
Good.
right, guys. Let's get into it, guys. We had a really good day yesterday. Let's start over here with our watch list. Mara. Mara's just been on fire, guys. Yesterday and today, this morning, already looking really, really good. Up 7.2. And we usually do not keep this on our watch, but we did yesterday, and I'm so glad we did because, man, look how clean this was. Actually, I'm showing the wrong screen on my end. Here's the one that I'm looking at, the 5 minute. Just an incredible continuation, beautiful breakout of the pre-market highs, and this thing traded very, very well. Even with this consolidation here, if you had a great entry off the VWAP, off the moving averages, you were able to hold through this. This was very controlled action, and then the breakout of the high of the day again in this area. So again, pretty good time there with Mara. Just traded amazing yesterday, so pretty nice. Hopefully that continues today. Already looking good in pre-market. Let's hope that that maintains that action that it has already. Here's a Stitch X Fix, which is Stitch Fix, I think, or Stitch,
Yep.
whatever. Yep.
Yep.
And we talk about this, Norm, all the time, how wild it can be. And we saw some of that yesterday. Again, every candle overlapping the previous candle here. It is not an easy stock to trade. You have to have a good entry on this one. Your entry cannot be off because the pullbacks will get you out of the trade. As
Yeah,
you can
for sure.
see, you're still on a beautiful downtrend, right? After the fact, looking at the big picture, but if you're getting in here or anywhere far, that's not a good entry on the pullback. The pullback will get you out of the trade, unfortunately. But bigger picture, if you trade on a bigger time frame, it could be easier to kind of find a good spot. This did trade very well towards the downside on a bigger time frame. Here's AMD, guys. A little bit of a rough start, but what a great trade it was yesterday as well. Took a bit to get going, but it did break the high of the day right on here. You got a bit of an indecision candle starting out of the gates, which is interesting at times. And then from there, dips down to about 76 and then takes off. Takes a little bit of a stall here for a bit, down to 20 moving average, but then it continues breaking the high of the day yesterday. So again, AMD trading very, very well. And we have some other ones that, again, traded amazing. This is throughout the entire day, too. Let me zoom out and get you the whole day. The whole day just kind of slowly grabbed onto the 9, did test the 20 a couple of times, just strong for the entire day there. Let's take a look at Apple. Apple really strong out of the gates, guys. Gave you a nice pop, pull back towards the moving averages, regains his strength, and look at this thing go. Nice engulfing pattern here on the 5 minute. beautiful engulfing pattern. You get a nice low pullback here. It's a great sign for entry if you missed it. And then just look at the continuation, man. Just beautiful, beautiful there. And then it trended nicely the entire day. Really, a lot of stocks took this break here after a nice run. This is okay. You come back down to the VWAP, come down to the moving average, just regroup a little bit, and then again another run up. The entire day was just real nice. Today, very active already. We'll take a closer look at that in a second. Here's Neo. Neo, very similar to Apple. Nice indecision candle here as well. Actually, more like AMD. And then the takeoff. Again, Neo trading amazing. Very, very clean here as well. So again, plenty of great stocks. DKNG was not one of them. I'll tell you that right now. DKNG was just brutal. It was just everything was so choppy on this. Every candle overlapping the previous one. So nothing clean here on DKNG. But we had some pretty great stocks yesterday. Norm, what's the latest and greatest on the overall SPY news?
Jared had an excellent morning brew this morning, going over a lot of market conditions and stuff. So I'll just be quick. We were pretty flat. And then right at 8:30, when we were cranking up, you and I, we had CPI and core CPI come out, which measures of inflation and part of the concern that has caused the market to be pulled back. So with that mellow, let's call it, CPI data, it caused a pretty decent pop on the SPY with a good flow of volume going through. And that's where we set up our day. I mean, after yesterday's big move, I would expect maybe some consolidation. That's what was happening. Those CPI numbers came out, so maybe we continue. Let's see.
Yeah, definitely.
Consumer price. It's consumer price index. It is a measure of inflation.
Yeah.
Somebody asked what CPI was.
No, excellent. Because again, and guys, this is why we made this show. If we say something that is not doesn't make sense, or you don't know what it is, let us know so we can clarify. Do not be afraid to ask questions. All right, excellent, guys. Looking really good right now. The SPY very active. At the moment, we'll see what kind of action that's going to create for us here today. Guys, let's get into our watch list today. Again, beautiful watch list yesterday. It was so nice. A lot of great opportunities. You could have had so many different tickers on your list, and they would have traded very well. Let's make some rows here, and let's look at what's gapping. Let's start with gapping down today. It's not a whole lot there, so let's quickly blow through this. And the first few are not looking great as far as low flow stocks here. 90K flow, that's got to be something. 6.2, 8.3. Let's see what INVO is giving us this morning. INVO doesn't want to link up. Why is this not working? Let's get the link set up here, guys. Give me 1 second. And someone asked yesterday, can I repeat this again? Well, I'm doing it now, so make sure you can you see what I'm doing here. So you come over, do external linking. That's going to be under tools, under external linking, right on there. You're going to get this box. This is Trade Ideas. Again, what a great scanner. And we do have a discount on this. Add link, come over to your montage right here where you enter your ticker information. You just hit shift. That's all you have to do. It's going to read the screen montage on there. Click OK, and then you should be good to go. Once you do that, if you click on here, it's going to transfer whatever you click on. Any scanners you click on Trade Ideas will transfer the ticker over to your montage. And if you're using Thinkorswim or any of the other platforms, Interactive Brokers, they actually have a direct link. So again, pretty cool tool. All right, INVO here, guys. Let's take a look here. This morning, they're down 18.6, 825,000 shares traded. Their pre-market action doesn't look good to me. Let's get a daily chart here as well. Had a big day yesterday. Let's see how that turned out. So we're on the second day of a nice run yesterday. Well, not nice. This doesn't look clean at all. It looks like it just popped up with a couple of halts again. That's not great trading price action. There's no way to trade that. Something clean that you can do there. I'm going to skip on this one, guys. I think today, with the way things are moving, we're going to see some stuff that's going to be pretty nice, hopefully like yesterday. YGMZ, horrible 90K flow, which just don't want no part of that. Here's ICE. Now, ICE is good. I like ICE because they traded very clean. Norm, you know that. You took a couple of trades on this, or one trade at least.
Monday,
yeah, they trade very clean. They have a lot of great price action. The flow is there of the volume as well. They're down 9.2. This could be the low flow of the day. I know they're down now. But again, who knows? 2.4 million, nice pop in the last couple of days. Let's see what happens here. You do have short inventory on this, guys. Be very, very careful. I'm not sure how much inventory you have, but be careful shorting these type of stocks. They could be brutal. ITRI, this one not looking good, guys. The pre-market is really not much going on there. Also looks very difficult to manage your risk on something like this. CAE. So CAE, guys, this one is dropping 2.6, 128,000 shares traded. Not liking what I'm seeing right now. The daily doesn't have great volume, neither very light on the volume for the most part. So again, we want to see great stuff, especially with the way the SPY is moving at the moment. OCGN. Now this thing's just been moving sideways over the last 4 days. Let's scroll back. Has it done anything throughout the intraday? Okay, you're getting some movement. But this does not look clean at all to me, guys. This is very, very choppy price action for the intraday. So I'm going to stay away from it from now. We've had some pretty good days on this one. We haven't not seen that in some time. So we'll skip on this one for now. Let's see what's gapping up this morning. KOSS. This is a low flow stock that, guys, this one can move. It's a 2.6 million shares flow. It has been. It's a former runner. We've seen this thing pop up pretty nice in the past. It is an active one. Be careful on this one. Okay, we're going to put it on here. 2.8 today, up 50%. This thing can definitely get going here. Looking very good so far for a low flow stock of 2.6. All right. This is XELA. This one was active yesterday. Yeah, this active yesterday. Today, possible a second day here. We are gapping up 36%, 15 million. Now, this is a 25 million shares flow. So I'm still going to put it here in our risky pile. So we got only 3 low flows today have made our watch list so far. Let's head on down. CDXC. The pre-market action on this one does not look great. It's not a low flow stock. Look how choppy this pre-market action is. You're not getting any great price action here. The spread is horrible at 24 cents for a $14 stock. That is not good. Yes, we know it can get better at the market open, but right now this is not looking great by any means. And you can see here the daily is also not looking too good. So just be careful on that one. I prefer to watch other stuff that's trading a little bit better. UAVS, it's got something going on here. Got some volume coming in, 80,000 in the last, or at least 40,000 in the last 15 minutes or so. This could be interesting. UAVS, we've seen this one on our list in the past, up 17% with 395. So pretty good there, getting a little bit of a bounce here from the lows of $4 just 4 days ago. So that looks interesting. NCTY, I don't like this one, guys. It's a low flow stock, very difficult to manage the spread, 70 cents at the moment. We've seen this one before. I know the daily looks very interesting here. Got a great day yesterday and a possible continuation. If you like these stocks, right? Something wrong with trading them. You just got to have a different type of mindset when you're taking your entries as far as the number of shares, how to calculate your risk, and the way the price action is going to flow on this. It's going to be a lot different than it will be on like an Apple and AMD, where the liquidity is just there. The spread is amazing with tons of volume. So be mindful if you keep this one on your list. 5.3 million shares flow. SLGG, 19 million. That again doesn't look better than the stuff that we have down here. XELA looks great. Cost looks good. Good volume there. Great pop this morning. Eyes looks amazing. Unfortunately, it's dropping today, but this pre-market action here. You can see a lot of movement in there as well. So we'll skip on SLGG for now. Again, just doesn't look interesting at the moment, and the volume is extremely light for a 19 million shares flow. Now here's BTBT. We know actually Mara is one that we looked at earlier. This was great yesterday. I had a great trade on Mara yesterday. I'm gonna add that to my list again. Bitcoin stuff, it's on fire this morning, as you can see, as this continues to rally here from a great day yesterday. So you have BTBT as well. They tend to have a little bit less volume, so they're a little bit more choppier. Mara is good. I know Rye is another one that gets great volume as well. They're looking good this morning. We'll throw that as a possible here also. They are definitely in play today. GameStop, it is up 12.6. Look at this daily on GameStop. Just again, if it was any other stock, it would be great. But man, this one is it's a little bit crazy. Again, just kind of tells you guys how sometimes, if you're going to be wrong, you got to be wrong quickly, because this stock, for my personal opinion, not nobody else's or any analyst or anything like that, this stock does not deserve to be up here. There's nothing that they're doing that deserves a $278 price tag on GameStop when they're continuing to close stores down. So it doesn't make sense to me. But
price is all that matters, my friend.
Exactly, price is all that matters. And as you can see here, if you're gonna be wrong on this one, you got to be wrong very, very quick. Do not stick around. So GameStop is up. If you like this one, definitely put it on your list. Here is Blue. Blue for the most part, not a great pre-market action. Seems choppy. Up 11.6, 540. But I don't like the daily on this one. It looks interesting as far as closing this gap a little bit here. They had a nice gap down. Looks like a couple of weeks ago, mid-February. So that could be interesting. But this pre-market is not. It's not calling us this morning. MGI, and I'll probably do this one last. What are the good stuff? I'm probably hanging out at the bottom. MGI here, not a great pre-market action so far. Now this one, I think we looked at this before in the past. I'm gonna put as a possible. I think this is one that has traded well in the past. I don't recall, but we'll put as a possible for now. The daily doesn't look great though, so maybe I'm confusing this with something else. We'll come back to it. All right, I'm gonna scroll down. Let's see if there's any other travel stocks on here. We have TRY. Tilray up here as well. They are up 9.4. Great pre-market action. So I do like this one today. Let's add this one as a possible. They got a 8 actually there could be a primary. You got 8.1 million shares traded up nicely today. So let's see what happens there. This is not your it's not like the old TLRY. It doesn't trade like that anymore. You still got to be careful, but not the same situation. AMC, we'll do that.
I mean, I'm moving $150 in a day.
Yeah, it doesn't do that. Doesn't do that anymore, but you still got to be a little careful with that one. AMC, guys, looking good on the daily. I think this one is worth putting on our secondary. We had it yesterday as well on our secondary. Let's see here. All right, we'll stop here. Norm, what do you like on your end?
All right, I'm going to throw one out that nobody would think I would, but Rimple mentioned it earlier. I happened to look it up, and I actually kind of like it. It is. There's been one time I think in the last 3 years I've traded a stock under $5. GTT.
GTT.
It needs to get volume back in it. It had some news come out of a business deal. Oh, you can see when it popped at 8 o'clock, and the volume and momentum has died off. But it could get interesting.
Yep, it really could. I like the volume on here, up 10%.
Got a decent short float at 20-ish%, I believe. So,
no, this looks good. And again, pre-market action is getting some great volume here. We'll see how this is going to play out, guys. And if they have a catalyst behind it, makes it even more and more exciting. So we'll put that on there.
It's it is not a low float, by the way, either.
No, it's not.
It's 35 million or 45 million.
Yeah, sorry. 45 with IT. So.
Yeah.
All right, excellent, man. Yeah, we usually do not get anything under $5 from you, so this is a rare occasion. Let's make sure we mark down the date here somewhere.
I don't know that it'll do anything, but I'll have it on my side list.
Absolutely. All right, guys, let's get over to you guys. Let's start with our chat room. Who do we have here? Art thought you were going to say GE, which that would have been
I will never say GE. I can promise you that.
That would have been crazy. All right, let's take a look at NEO. Yes, Josh. Let's start with Josh here. Yeah, NEO is good, guys. We actually looked at this earlier today. This looks amazing. Beautiful run up here yesterday, and today we can definitely add this to our list. NEO has been on our list the last couple of days. They've just been trading so clean. Let's take a look over. So we have NEO, we have Riot, and we have that one already. NEO is on deck. Billy Dio is giving us BA. Yeah, BA is interesting on the daily. I do like what I'm seeing there. The pre-market action is okay. That could get better. We've seen BA take off and do some good things. We'll keep an eye on that one. What is the airline? Are the airlines, the other stuff doing here as far as travel? So American Airlines not doing anything. No. United, yeah, they're not in play today. But BA does look good on the daily. But I'm concerned that you have United, you have American Airlines, all looking good on the daily, but not really in play. So we'll see how that turns out. NEO, we have CAN. Let's take a look at CAN. Yeah, CAN, another Bitcoin play here, guys. Again, Bitcoin is on fire. You have Mara, you have Riot, all of these guys, great volume. Where's Mara? Mara's up 8% and rocking it this morning. Riot is up 10%. So pick which one you like. All of them are looking very good. Riot, CAN, they all look amazing. So I'm not going to put all of them down here because we could fill up our list with just Bitcoin plays today, but we won't add all of them. So Take your favorite pick there. All right, I lost my spot. Excuse me, guys are throwing out some good stuff here. Coming on back, let's look at Tesla. What is Tesla up to this morning? Tesla's looking very good. Great day. Again, yesterday was just amazing, guys. You could have taken a lot of stuff long and you would have, made out very, very well. Today, possible continuation on Tesla, 2.7. I like the volume on Tesla. Now, I'm not going to add it to my list. I don't like trading Tesla as much as I like trading all these other stocks. So you can watch this one if you like.
I just saw a blurb somewhere, and if the number I have is wrong, Elon Musk, I believe, made $30 billion on that Tesla move yesterday.
Yesterday. Wow.
Yeah.
Insane.
30 billion in a day. Of course, he'd lost a whole lot before that, if you look at the daily, but
well,
still.
What's a billion here and there? You know what? Doesn't matter. Insane. All right, guys, I lost my spot, so I'm sorry about that. I'm going to start here with Jared. He's giving us ENVB. Let's type that in here, ENVB. Let's see what we have. Wow, this is going. So what do we have going on here? 90% up this morning, 13 million shares traded. Definitely in play. What kind of flow are we talking about at the moment? 13 million shares float. But yeah, this is definitely really, really active pre-market action for this low flow. Definitely worth adding on here. Again, guys, just keep in mind, this risky pile here, you need to be very, very careful with. Heading on down, CAN, we don't have it on deck. I have Mara, I have Riot, but CAN is another one that looks good. Yep, up 12%. No, ENVB is up 87%. So that's a lot higher than that. PLTR. You know what? On a day like today, when I have all these other stuff that trades well that I know cannot be as choppy as PLTR can, I'd rather not have it on my list, even as a possible. I don't just want to be bothered with it. But I'll tell you this though, this daily here, this consolidation looks great. If it was another stock, I'll put it on my list. This consolidation here can give you a nice breakout if it can trade clean. But I just don't want to take my chances today. So if one of you guys watches it on the community, please call it out if you see something great happening. We'll be watching for that ticker in the chat room. Mara, we do have it. No, Mara is on here, guys. Mara is we have Mara. It looks really good. Oh, you're asking Chris a question. Okay, here it is. Plug. Let's take a look at what's going on with Plug this morning. They are also up nice. I like the daily on Plug. So I like the daily getting a nice little bounce here, as many stocks are bouncing today. Up 5.5. Pre-market action is okay compared to, if we compare it to like a Neo, a Tilray, a Mara, it doesn't look as exciting, but it's still a great pre-market action. I think it's worth taking a look. All right, heading on down. What else do we have? PENN, excuse me. No volume here on this one. Again, unless there's some kind of news happening, this one doesn't have great volume. And also, guys, stocks at this price with this type of daily volume, 5.5 million, 4.1 million, it's very low for the type of movement you're getting here. So that tells me that you're going to get a lot of a huge spread on here, and the price action is not going to look great, right? So if you look at these two things that they're not matching up properly, it's not going to be a great, good day trading stock. And I think we've seen this one in the past. And I don't think we ever kept it because, again, it just doesn't trade very well. I don't think Twitter is in play, guys. The volume is definitely not there this morning. Pre-market action is not looking great, so I won't add that one to our list. Let's take a look at Dash. Dash, I see you're looking at the possible bounce here, but pre-market action on Dash is not great. Also, very, very difficult stock to day trade. We talked about this, I think, 2 days ago as well. Yeah, so again, it all depends on your style, guys, right? If that's what you like to trade and you're good at it and you have and most important, you have a strategy, right? You got to have a strategy. Then yes, by all means, add it to your list. DKNG was horrible yesterday. I'm concerned to even add it today on my list. I do like this pop here that we're getting. They're up 4.5 with okay volume, 303. The daily looks interesting for a possible breakout. We'll add it on here as a possible just because how brutal they were yesterday, how choppy they were. XLA we do have, that's down there, PLTR. I'm not adding to my list today, but you guys call it out if it looks good. MNOV. What is this? MNOV selling down here. We don't have shares for sure. Is it a low flow stock? It doesn't look great right now for a low flow, with given the fact that we have some other ones that are looking really good. It is not a low flow. It's sitting at 44 million. So yeah, we got some okay volume, good volume yesterday. No, not even. Only 3 million. Sorry, this is a lot less. 5.8. Yeah, I'm not sure about this one, guys. I don't like the daily on it. It looks like it just might sell down and just close its gap towards the downside. So I'm not sure what caused this 70% gap up yesterday after hours. but today's not really looking good, and you don't have no shares for sure. All right, I think we have to stop here, guys. Thank you so much. Throwing out some pretty good ones. Let's take a look over on our YouTube chat, see what you guys have. Maybe something we have not talked about. I see Microsoft here. Microsoft this morning. I like the daily on Microsoft. Possible breakout. I don't know if there's any specific news. I know that some of the tech companies are popping this morning. Let's take a look at something that is going to get volume, like Apple. Right? Apple is the one you want to watch.
Microsoft looks exactly like the market.
Yeah.
So does Apple.
Yeah. But, so they're not in play, but like you said,
they're tradable for sure.
Right. So instead of Microsoft, which has no specific news and looks just like the SPY, look how much better Apple looks, right? As far as volume, 2.3 million. You got the same exact chart as the Apple, right? As the SPY popped up over here. Microsoft did the same thing. Apple's going to get the volume at the market open. We know that for a fact. If it's going to trend with the SPY is going to be strong today for a second time here. This is the one you definitely want to have on your list. It's going to be easier to trade. You're going to have great liquidity on that one. It's going to be a lot of fun. Clovis, what is this? Is a ticker? That's not coming up for me.
CLVS.
CLVS. Oh, that's the correct ticker. CLVS.
Not Elvis.
There we go. Not Elvis.
There you
Good.
go.
All right, so yeah, again, you got 60,000 here, up 1%. Daily looks very similar to other stocks as well, maybe popping up with the market a little bit, but it just doesn't look good, guys. So we'll have to move on from that one. UAVS we do have on here. Great pop this morning. Has stalled a little bit for now. Let's see if that continues. That looks good. CETX, I think we looked at this before. And yeah, I don't like what I'm seeing here. You did get the nice pop up this morning. It's coming back down now. 11 million shares traded, 79. Yeah, I think the other ones are on down here. Like ICE, for example, COS, and EL. These look better. VB, by the way. This thing is tearing up nicely. Looks like it wants to run up and crack that high of the day, make some new highs there. So I just look at that. That's probably the low flow of the day today alongside ICE. I like ICE. I know it's selling down now, but man, this thing trades so well. All right, CAN is strong. Yeah, CAN is strong. Mana is strong. All the Bitcoin stuff is strong, so that's good. Let's take a look at NAKD. What do we have here? NAKD. Oh, no. This is a great example of something you do not want to trade. Is algo-like type trading, and you're getting all this volume through pennies, and how do you trade that? Where's the ABCD pattern here? I don't see it. All right, let's stop here, guys. Let's go over to our announcements. We'll come back and fine-tune our list. A lot of green in the screen today, looking pretty nice. Hopefully that it's going to translate to some nice trading this morning.
First thing I want to mention or ask and request is our friends on YouTube hit the thumbs up. It really does help us out. So sincerely appreciate it if you're watching to hit the thumbs up over there. The other thing is, especially for our non-US based friends, and thank you for the reminder, Abiel, is that daylight savings time starts this weekend. So there will be an hour time change. If it's 6, it'll be 7 actually. Spring forward. So just note that if you come in here at what would be 8:30, you might be thrown off on Monday. So we've got a time change this weekend. Check into it. See how that works with you. All right. So Mike's great tradebook webinar is completed, should be posted today. Next week, Artie, risk manager, former risk manager of Peak Capital, and now the investment growth analyst for Peak Capital, is going to be talking about managing risk and risk controls, most important aspect of trading. So check that out. That'll be next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Then tonight, 5 p.m. special time, because she is in Europe, you're going to have Kreda talking about taming your adrenaline chimp or overcoming your analysis paralysis, two things on opposite ends of the spectrum that different people struggle with. Next week, we're going to have a town hall with Dr. Katz, 8 p.m. Wednesday. If you want to participate in the member trade of the day, trade of the week, take a screenshot of your best trade of the day. It should obviously have entries and exits so we can see the trade, and then mark it up with any commentary you can give on the strategy. Post it on Twitter, tagging at Bear Bull Traders, at MikeB_BBT, and at NormBBT. Also use the hashtags BBT Family, Day Trading, and Stock Market. We'll pick a winner for each day. That'll be announced in the closing bell show and on Twitter. And then we'll take all of the trades of the day for that week and the team votes over the weekend and announce trade of the week on Monday. If you're watching on YouTube and haven't been in the chat, use the promo code PREMARKET24. That'll get you a discount off the intro membership. The intro membership is 7 calendar days, 5 trading days in the chat. Does not auto-renew or turn into any other kind of membership. It also gives you access to the onboarding classes on Monday night, the technology stuff that includes Carlos's live onboarding class and Kyle's new technology class immediately after that. Also, if you're looking to become an elite member, you can use the promo code LUCK40 to get 40% off the annual elite.
All right, excellent. Thank you, Norm. All right, guys, let's get to it. Let's start with our list. Actually, the first one is really Mara. So just kind of quick recap on what we have here. UAVS started to get going, looked really hot. I mean, it still looks okay, but you start looking at these other things like Mara looks great. TRY looks good. Neo, amazing. We have Plug on here as well. Okay, I like the daily on Plug. And we have Apple, and Apple doesn't look great pre-market, but the daily, this is kind of like the SPY type play for me. You know, if the SPY gets going, this thing trends along with the Qs. Apple's the one I'll be looking at. So, but looking good as far as possible. Secondary, we have GTT. That looks good, coming down a little bit there. Riot is another player from Mara as well. You can watch either one. Keep in mind, I'm going to type in here CAN, because that's another one you can watch also. Any of those three are great. As you can see here, CAN taking off nicely. So there's DKNG. BA is another one on our possibles list. I love the daily on BA, so we'll keep a close eye on that one. AMC coming down here. MGI, I'm going to take this one off. This does not deserve to be on our list. And again, right, and okay, good. We have a great list, guys, and there's a lot going on there. Our gappers list, as you can see, we have a lot of green going on here. So you can find some other ones that look very similar to what we have on deck here, and you can do very well. So and then we'll look at what the moderators have in a second. Let's do some levels here. Let's start with UAVS. Now this one, again, it can move very well. High of the pre-market at the moment at 940. And look at 940. 940 has a lot of touches. And sometimes you have days like this one right on here. You see where this one is closing there. It had a huge run up, and this is going to be a level, right? Great area of rejection there to 1142. You want to mark this down too. So you don't just look at the entire candle from top to bottom, the top and bottom, and miss out on some opportunities here in the middle. This is a very big move. Comes back down and closes here. That can become a level as well, right? So it doesn't always have to be the high and low of the candle. You want to mark this down here, especially when you have such big distance away from the high and the low of that. So right on there, you can see that 940. You got a great area of support. Couple of touches there. Nice resistance as well. This doesn't quite get to it, right? But it's close, right? It's an area. These levels are never going to be exact for the most part. It's an area that you want to keep in mind. Here's 1142. Look how great this area of support is right on there. Got a couple of area of resistance and then great support happening here as well. And notice how every single day here closes or opens right around that area. Yes, you have the wicks coming down here. You can mark those as well. But to me, this is more important. You got a couple of days is always closing and opening at this 1142. So that means that at some point, was your previous day close, which is an important line. And again, a lot of touches on there. Definitely want to keep an eye on that there. And then in between here, this one here, 1050 is not a great level. It's not like a 1142 or a 940. You got a couple of touches here, not a whole lot, not great change in direction. But I want to have that down there. I think it's the best level between 940 and 1142. That's a big move. I think we'll have some resistance if we do decide to push up like that this morning. Towards the bottom, guys, great levels, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. I do not think you need to add any more on there. Let's see how this pre-market develops here. Looks very good right now. Volume looks great per the 5-minute candles here. 600, almost 700,000 at the moment. Up 20% there. Here's Mara. Mara is just insane, guys. Look at the daily, how great this is. Now, we talk about dailies, right? Look at the range this thing is creating, right? The nice drop here. This consolidation, if you notice how big these candles are, that had a lot to do with the SPY. With the SPY going up and down, being, going with a lot of volume, you're getting this choppiness here. But even in this consolidation, you have some really good days in here. The issue with Mara is, you can't short it. So on these days here, for the most part, you didn't have inventory. We do have have inventory today, although it does not look like a short today, at least for right now. High of the pre-market is at 40, but I do like this 40.18 level. We got an area of resistance right on this. I'm going to mark that down. Let's see if we can get above that $40 mark. Here, the daily looks very choppy, so you're not going to find great levels. You have this one up here, 49.31. And in here, maybe this one, don't put a lot of weight on this one, 44.16. This is also up nicely this morning. If you get to 44.16, I think the most important thing here is going to be the price levels, 42, 42.50, the whole dollars, because you're going to be very extended on the daily. So don't be stubborn and say, hey, we got to get to 44.16 because Carlos says so. No way. Make sure you understand that you're getting extended. You're breaking out of this $40 mark, 40.18. Follow your trade management plan accordingly there. Towards the bottom, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. Previous day close on there. Pretty good so far. On that area. Here's TRY. I kept this on here because the pre-market looks very good. The daily so-so. I do like where the price action on the daily is sitting now. Let's look at the high of the pre-market, 27.93. It's very choppy in here, but this 27.93, you got a couple of touches here on this consolidation we have for a couple of weeks here. We dip down here all the way down to 18.27, like many stocks did with the SPY, and now we're recovering. We have a lot of room to run if we can get above this 27.93 and be strong for the day. So we'll have to see how that's going to play out. Above that 27.93, guys, 29.66, we'll throw a level there, and also up here over at 34.95. All right, here's NEO, guys. NEO has been really, really good and very, very clean. Definitely in play today. And we did not look at XPET. We'll take a look at what's going on there. 4 million shares traded, up 4.7, just amazing, with a really good pre-market action at the moment. So where is, oh, here it is, yeah. So pre-market high right now, we're sitting at, let's see, we're kind of cracking it right now, 43.35. We'll throw a level there. And then above that, we do have one right over here, right over there, 45.10, and then all the way up here at 47.22. So we'll see how that is going to do. Again, looking very, very strong this morning. Coming right back to that pre-market high. Looks like, yeah, we're breaking through that right now. Excellent. I'm still going to keep this level on here, guys. Let's see if it comes back and uses that as support as it tries to make its way higher here on NEO. All right, here's Plug. So Plug's pre-market high. Pre-market is okay at the moment. The pre-market high is at 45.24. Towards the top, we have the great level here, guys. Tons of touches here, 48.55. I don't see anything great between the pre-market high now and in between this back and forth here. So I'm not going to add anything just yet. I actually might move this one down. Let's see how our secondary list looks if we find something better there. But looking good this morning, popping up nicely towards the bottom. If it does decide to come back here, you do have your highs and lows from the last 2 trading days and your previous day close. So do not need to add anything on there. And what you can do here too, guys, you don't have any great levels off the daily. You can come into this intraday, right? We won't do it now to save time, but you can come into this intraday and see if you have a lot of touches, area consolidation, maybe on a 15-minute chart, an hourly chart, and that can also create some good levels for you. All right, here is Apple. Apple this morning starting to get going here, guys, looking good, going green, up almost 1%. Price action right now hitting the high of yesterday. So that's a great level you have there. That's good. Towards the bottom, if we look at this now, we have your highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. You can mark down your low of the pre-market, 119.67. Let's throw a level there. But for the most part, the rest of the levels are done for you here. Pretty nice this morning. Towards the top, we do have a nice level here, guys. We do have a 123. And then above that, we do have another one here with a couple of touches at 125. You also got some moving averages coming in here as well. You do have a moving average on the daily that you're hitting up against now, but I think the high of yesterday is more important at this moment. So looking good there, guys. Again, very, very nice list. I like what I'm seeing here so far. UAS bouncing back. Mara is struggling with that 40.18 a little bit. TRY is okay. NEO is looking good. Plug is looking okay as well. And Apple is looking very good, actually. So we got a great list. Secondary list, GTT is on here, guys. We have Riot, again, another Bitcoin play there. AMC's losing it here. Fun to watch. BA, again, the dailies will looks great on BA, and we know they can get the volume at the open. So we'll see if this market triggers BA in any way, shape, or form. DKNG, this one here, again, was just so bad yesterday. So bad. Look at this choppy action. So we're keeping it here in the secondary list. Hopefully it can get better. And CAN, as we talked about, also another Bitcoin play, doing pretty good there. All right, let's take a look at our moderators lineup. Let's see what we have here, guys. Let's bring that in. All right, here we go. Let's get our visuals in line right over here. You guys see that? Yeah, perfect. All right, oops, I moved it back here. There it is. All right, guys, so we have Thor. He is watching Neo, XPEV, Apple, AMD, and MU this morning, DKNG as well. Eamon is watching DKNG, CAN, Neo, secondary, Riot, Mara, and FSR. Dima, she is watching XPEV, TLRY, Space, and Mara. Mike is watching BA and Facebook. Tiffany likes Neo, Tesla, and CAN this morning. IPO for today, Roblox. I know that because my nephews play that quite a bit, and my daughter's starting to get into it as well. So is that Roblox? I mean, I heard about that in the news. They're opening up their IPO, going public. So yeah, Roblox is a very big deal, at least for my 7-year-old daughter, and my nephew's 14 and no, for 14, Jesus Christ, 15 and 13. I'm getting old. John is looking at Baidu, FUTU, Tesla, and Peter is watching Apple, AMD, Neo, secondary list eyes, Space, and TLRY. So that looks very good this morning, guys. We have it's a lot you can look at. Let's look at XPEV. XPEV is good. Dima, she has this on her list. Again, looking very, very nice, guys. You can't go wrong with XPEV or Neo, both on your list. Here is Brian. Brian's coming in with INO, Run, DKNG, and FU2U. So good stuff there as well. All right, excellent, guys. I think we have an amazing list. A very, very strong start this morning on some of the stocks we have up nicely into some green here. SPY is ripping nicely, continuing its run up almost slightly over 1% this morning. We'll see. Can it make it up to this 392? Can we push up against these all-time highs here? Is the question. It's going to be a fun time this week and today. I can tell already things are looking pretty nice. All right, everyone. I think that is all we have. Yesterday we had an amazing webinar by Mike. If you missed it, that recording will be up today around noon, 1 o'clock or so will be uploaded. Just amazing. So make sure you check that out if you missed it. It was incredible to see the questions that were on there. Again, very interesting stuff. So definitely don't miss that. And tonight we have what do we have tonight? We have our psychology webinar tonight. So make sure you don't miss that also happening this evening. So take care, guys. Trade safe, and we will see you all. Oh, wait. Jared just came in with his list. Let's bring this back. And again, Jared, thank you for joining us, doing it every morning at 8 a.m. If you have not joined us that early, we start the pre-market show at 8 in the morning with Jared. His list today, AMD, MU, NVIDIA, some of the semis on there. He's watching Neo, Tesla, Momentum, Bounces, at Riot, Mara for the BTC type plays there. Again, looking really strong in all those Bitcoin plays this morning. And they're trading clean because sometimes Mara looks strong and it does not trade clean. But man, yesterday was amazing. And today's looking to turn out the same way. So take care, guys. Trade safe. And we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one, everyone.